From the most distant corners of Africa and Asia, Olivia Mokiejewski has traveled the globe exposing the dangers to our planet's wild animals and nature. She's a reporter, a member of the Nature Environmental Journalists Association and of the WWF. Like Leonardo DiCaprio and Yann Arthus Bertrand, she was named ambassador of the International Fund for Animal Welfare. We'll accompany Olivia in her adventures as she meets exceptional women and men who devote their lives to rescuing young orphan animals. People working to promote awareness and help make a better world.
Destination, the Amazon rainforest, to meet with an amazing acrobat, the woolly monkey. This little-known primate is essential to the equilibrium of Amazon rainforests. But today he's disappearing, a victim of poaching and deforestation. Ripped from their forest by traffickers when they were young, a few survivors have finally found refuge at the Ikamaperu orphanage. Side by side with their rescuers, Olivia will learn how difficult it is to teach them to live like monkeys again. Will these primates who don't even know how to climb a tree be able one day to regain their freedom? Amazonia. The name alone evokes the mystery, richness, and the fragility of nature in its purest state. In Peru, these forests cover a bigger territory than France and represent a genuine national treasure.
Pacaya Samia Reserve, one of the richest ecosystems in the world. Here we can find woolly monkeys, of course, but also all the animal species that people are selling on the market. Everything is so big around us. We feel very small. I'm trying to keep my eyes as open as possible, not to miss any part of this magical show.
It's a timeless voyage for Olivia and the guardians of this sanctuary, Warren Kokiche and Hélène Colombe. Hélène is French, and she left everything to protect this world, living on borrowed time.
What's striking is how well we breathe here.
Yes, there's really no pollution of any kind, no noise, and incredible silence. There are a multitude of species. We don't know them all. We discover new insects, reptiles, amphibians at every moment. And it's true, this is one of the last remaining Edens. The big challenge now is to transmit the beauty of Amazonia to others in a way that we can truly protect it.
Every day, this paradise shrinks and is emptied by the mounting pressure of oil companies, lumber companies, or poachers. Nowadays, it's necessary to venture even deeper into this jungle to observe the primate species Helen fell in love with 15 years ago. This former Spanish professor chose to fight for the woolly monkeys, and it wasn't on a whim.
If you will, it's as though this forest invented the animals to find a way to reproduce, to regenerate itself. The woolly monkey plays a very important role in this process. He eats almost 300 different types of plants and fruit that he'll carry with his excrement, and seeds will automatically be fertilized. The woolly monkey moves about over a rather large area, between 500 and 1,000 hectares. So you can imagine how he helps the forest regenerate, and it's reciprocal because the woolly monkey can't live without the forest.
So the woolly monkey is kind of Amazonia's gardener.
Very much its gardener. He and other primates, and other animals, of course. But since he can only live in the primary forest, as soon as this primary forest is cut down, he disappears. He's completely linked to this ecosystem, so protecting the woolly monkey is protecting an ecosystem.
All this.
Right.
It is estimated that the woolly monkey population has dropped 60% in 15 years. It's become extremely rare to catch sight of one. With her Peruvian husband, Hélène created the Icama Peru Association and opened 2 refuges for Amazonian primates. In this country, where adult monkeys are killed for their meat and the little ones are sold as mascots, she is one of the only people to worry about their fates. She has already taken 100 orphans, and this morning there are 2 more.
This baby arrived last night and he was caught in a market where people wanted to sell him as a pet. They are really nice and adorable and they look like soft toys. So today they are the victims of a horrible dealing.
Victims of their own sweet nature and that they look like stuffed animals, they suffer from a detestable traffic. In Peru, a baby woolly monkey sells for up to 100 euros, the equivalent of a month-and-a-half salary. Those who survive the journey are sold for a fortune in the United States or in Europe.
It's time to cut the leash that held him captive and give him some food so he can get his strength back.
Their suffering, their lives, none of it counts. The illegal trade of wild animals is a shameful business that can leave you quickly feeling helpless. Wildlife traffic comes in 3rd in the world behind drugs and weapons. Lima, a crossroad that monkey traffickers must pass through. Business is doing well here.
At the end of this road, there is a market, the most famous market in Lima, where dealers are found. This morning I joined the people who are in charge of fighting against the wildlife trade. Around me there is people from the police, ecological, and also people from the Ministry of Agriculture. We are supposed now to get there and to try to confiscate the animals.
Illegal commerce here is often controlled by drug lords. The raid takes place early in the morning to surprise these very organized criminals. They must act fast because snitches watch for police cars and warn smugglers.
This is the place. It's too late. The traffickers have already escaped.
Look, come and see.
It's completely filthy here. And it's winter in Peru. Animals fit to live in a tropical climate, catch cold and many die. The sanitary conditions for the animals are atrocious. Corpses are just left here in the middle of vermin and rats. They die even before they can be sold. The rarer the animal, the more it costs. So the more it's in demand and hunted, the faster it disappears. It's a terrible, vicious circle.
This year, police seized 800 animals in this part of town. But how many have slipped through the cracks? A rhesus monkey and some parrots were rescued. At least there's that. But the police won't house this menagerie. In Lima, only Milagros Ramos is willing to take in these survivors. She's a veterinarian at a refuge set up in a grade school, a kind of Noah's Ark perched high above the city. Most of the 200-some that ended up here were confiscated or abandoned by their owners.
This is quarantine. In addition to all those we brought back today, there is this little woolly monkey that Milagros saved this morning. He came from a family that kept him like a pet. He's 8-month-old. With his pajamas and his diapers, he was turned into a living toy. Here there are also 2 other woolly monkeys. a male, Luchin, and a female, Tota. Luchin arrived 10 years ago. He spent 10 years in this little cage, and now he's too used to humans and too old to go back to the wild. For Tota, it's different. She's young, and she will be transferred very soon in a rehabilitation center in the north of the country to be released one day.
Tota is lucky. Thanks to Helen's network and to Milagros, she'll be able to leave Lima and this weather, which is not good for her. Most don't get this chance. With few shelters to reintroduce them into nature, they'll end their days in these cages. Like all woolly monkeys, Tota is very sensitive to stress. To transport her, Milagros has to give her a tranquilizer. As the other residents look on, Tota leaves for a new life. Parrots, boas, and turtles will also make the trip. After hours of negotiating with the authorities, they can now leave the city to go to the airport. What's the world coming to? It's easier to steal animals from the forest than it is to take them back home.
Don't forget the boas here and the little monkey in the cage.
The formalities and paperwork are long and detailed, but in a country where animal trafficking is common practice, all transport of animals is suspicious. It's important for them to prove they aren't traffickers.
Knowing that all these animals will be able to return to their natural habitat, or at least return to food and a climate that is adapted to them, that gives me strength. It gives me great satisfaction.
In Spanish, Milagros means miracle. Boarding a 1,300-kilometer flight, direction Tarapoto, then Moyobamba, to meet up with Helen and her husband.
It looks like she's doing well.
All right, only 3 more hours and Tota will have arrived. Well, almost. This road is the one that animal traffickers use constantly for their trips back and forth between Lima and Amazonia. Tota must have come through here once before.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, Olivia. So we have a little saga here.
Yes, it's it.
Oh, she's a little princess. She's superb. She has a great face. She's magnificent.
It will be a new life for her.
Oh, yes. It'll be a real life, their life. Well, let's get going, because we have a 45-minute boat ride.
Back on the road. Tota must find the time in her cage long. But for her to one day be free again, there's no other choice. Helen Colong and her husband are the only ones in Peru who offer any hope to victims of trafficking. Even though this region, the gateway to Amazonia, isn't really the woolly monkey's natural habitat, several reasons led Hélène to set up her shelter for monkeys that are victims of smuggling here.
In the 90s, the lower Amazon was a very dangerous region between the guerrilla warfare and the narco traffic. It wasn't possible to set up there. And the Moyobamba area has an ecosystem quite close to that of the woolies. And most of all, it was an obligatory passageway for traffickers. So it allowed us to intercept the woolies, basically before they got to Lima, where, as you saw, we most often recover them.
"15 years ago, using all their savings, Hélène and Carlos bought this 70-acre terrain, a remote little paradise called Terengue. They shelter 5 species of endangered primates here. first, Tota will be placed with the baby woolies, so she can get used to communal life gently.
Hello, my lovelies. Come on, everyone. There's some new friends. Come on, Wawan. Come and say hello. For the moment, that is, they're in a situation of mutual observation. As soon as they feel reassured about the intention of one another, something starts to happen. For now, it's a bit soon.
For Tota, it's really important for her not to be alone.
Of course, a monkey on its own is no longer a monkey. They have a very complex social life, very rich. As we'll see, being in a group is a fundamental element of a primate's well-being.
The other orphans at the refuge are between 10 months and 12 years old. They all knew the same fate as Tota, pets tied up and sometimes shut in closets for years. At Terenge, no one treats them as toys. They will finally learn to live like monkeys.
Hello, you. This is Hector, an animal which demonstrates the typical problems that the woolies run into. He's lived for 8 years completely cut off from his species in an apartment in Lima. With people who think they love animals, they made him obese, diabetic, with birthday cakes, with cream, all the things a woolly monkey can't really do without, as you might imagine. On the other hand, being cut off from his species creates many problems because it's made him lack self-confidence.
So the goal for you here is to recreate a solid group that's united so they can survive together later when they're free?
That's exactly right. So right now, he's in a phase of re-socialization, if you will, where in fact, it's the little ones who help him understand that he's a woolly monkey. And from there, he'll be taken into a group where you have many woolies who know perfectly well how to behave in the forest. And at that moment, he'll probably follow the movement.
But it takes time for these orphans to detach from humans and become monkeys again, as it is for these other boarders, the spider monkeys. It's walk time for these strange creatures.
Spider monkeys occasionally move standing up. You see there the expression of an individual with an extraordinary femininity.
A princess.
Oh yes, she's practically holding her pinky in the air. A very elegant, very distinguished way of moving. They have the agility and speed we'd love to have. There, look at that absolutely incredible leap.
They are professional gymnasts. These monkeys are the strangest ones I've ever seen. It looks like they're straight out of a Tim Burton movie. With their long arms and legs, they really look like spiders.
What a show. The black silhouette set against the backdrop of the forest is really stunning. With this prehensile tail, typical of South American monkeys.
And so they use it like a fifth hand.
They use it like a fifth hand, and as you saw already, like the palm of a hand. The fingertips are unique, just like ours. And they also use it for security in the trees. It's also a way of communicating, meaning. Do you see the little spider monkeys with their two little tails holding on, walking together? There are two coming back up there.
Are they even more endangered than the woolly monkey?
Oh yes, they are, even in more danger. Of all the other primates, these two great primates are the favorites of the indigenous communities, but also for mascot trafficking, because it's true they have a lot of personality and a very loving temperament.
What does it mean?
Oh, it's a whole little dialogue that shows their desire to communicate with humans. So the forest invented... No, mummy. No, little mummy. No, no. You see, there are times you can't resist anymore. Can't make any abrupt movements, above all. No quick movements. Yes, little mummy, you're too sweet, I know. Oh, yes. But I also know her a little bit. She's going to go. Very good, yes. You're a big girl, all done. She wants to take me in the trees with her, you see. Come on, we'll go up in the trees, we'll have fun. No, I can't climb trees. She's very disappointed. But can't you see it's so fun? Go on, climb up. Climb up alone. Very good.
She wraps her tail around your neck.
Yes, you see how useful it is. It has many uses. Okay, okay. There we go. You're looking at the last primates of South America. In 30 years, we have absolutely no idea if they'll still be here. So there's little hope that your grandchildren will ever see a spider monkey as you have.
When you get the chance to see them in the world like this, it's hard to imagine these are the last of the species. So we must fight to save them. They are the last survivors.
Three days have gone by since Tota arrived at Terengay. It's time for her to take the next step. She'll enter a much bigger pen where she'll meet her future group. Tota is a little uneasy, especially because starting now, she'll have to cohabitate with a male.
Tota is much better now. She joined the group of Hector, so now she's going to know little by little her new family. Hector pretends not to be interested in Tota, but he's a little bit interested. He just look around and trying to turn around her, just to see how she reacts. It's really important for them to have a good relationship because they are going to be released together and spend all the rest of their life together.
In creating this group, Hélène has made a bet. Will Tota succeed in being accepted? Let's hope so. For Tota and her new family, it's too soon to go out into the forest. But other more seasoned monkeys spend their afternoons hanging out in the trees. Terengay is the perfect place for them to readapt to life in the wild.
It's like a nature kindergarten here. They would practice the difficult exercise of leaping from tree to tree. With bones that must be very long. They would once again get reacquainted with the forest they were whipped from.
Super, super, look. There he goes. He's off. There, you see? He's climbed up 20 meters high.
They have fun.
Yes, they're having fun. In fact, they're doing great. Look at the leaps they're doing there. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, it's crazy. Plus the fact they are still very young and so little.
It's surprising because you think they're so small and vulnerable. They aren't with their mothers, and then you realize they have such courage and especially such fun being in the forest. It's extraordinary.
As if it were nothing, these little balls of fur climb 20 meters above the ground. Because a woolly monkey's place is in the canopy, far from predators.
Notice how they stay in vocal contact. They don't stray too far from one another, see? They know where all the others are.
Yes, little rallying signs.
Yes, that's it.
The woolly monkey's language is composed of 3 types of calls. One to stay in contact, one to sound an alert, and the third to signal their presence to another group of woolies.
Look at that. Wawan's incredible. She's doing just great. You see that?
Yes, like a pro. Wawan, she's a special woolly monkey. She's different from the others, right?
Well, she's a subspecies of woolly monkey, a yellow-tailed woolly monkey. They're exceptionally rare.
More than the woolly monkey?
Oh yes, much rarer. 4 years ago we calculated that there were only 250 remaining. Luckily we've since seen that there are actually a few more, but they already live in an ecosystem not far from here, but very different. In a fog forest. It's also a cloud forest and unfortunately is endangered here. It's an altitude of 2,000 meters. In fact, you can see their coat is much heavier than an ordinary woolly monkey, so she's used to much colder temperatures than here. But despite this, you can see how incredibly well adapted she is.
The yellow-tailed woolly monkey is one of the most endangered primates on Earth. And with reason. Every day, logging companies illegally cut down thousands of hectares in Amazonia. Then there are the Peruvians themselves. More and more of them are moving here to flee the poverty of the cities. They cut down trees to cultivate rice or coffee, but also to build their houses and heat them. When the forest disappears, it's not only woolly monkeys that are in danger. Albertina Nanchijam Tuwitz is an Aguaruna. Her people have always lived in this forest, in perfect harmony with it.
She's telling to the forest and to the animals that we are friends and that we are not going to hurt them.
For 30 years, Albertina has watched the forest and its animals disappear. Little by little, the roots and the future of her people are fading away. Today, Albertina works side by side with her friend Hélène to save the woolly monkeys. Albertina was born in this forest. She spent her childhood here. This forest is truly a part of her.
This forest has always been a refuge for us. When I was a little girl, I loved coming here. I felt good here. The spectacle of the animals and the birds thrilled me. I've always been convinced that this place had a secret, that these animals had their own special language. I imagined that all these birds were singing for me. This forest is like a book. When you open it, it tells you things you must hear. You must learn to grasp its message. The world shouldn't worry itself over material things. We should respect the forest, because nature still has so many things to teach us.
The Indians and the woolly monkeys share the same battle and the same interests. To live, they need this forest and its resources.
This forest is essential. With this plant, for example, you can heal the pain of an inflamed liver. You simply take 3 little leaves, no more, and especially don't rip out the whole plant. It's important to respect these plants. They are here to watch out for us, too, as we should watch over them. All these things make us love the forest. The forest doesn't speak like we do, but it manifests in very different forms. She sends us messages. This is why we respect her. This forest is our life.
Off to the side, Albertina starts to cry. Her plea for help is overwhelming. Will her song and that of an entire people at last find an echo? Meanwhile, at Terenge, little by little, everyone heals their wounds. Life returns to normal. Hector is more confident. He plays the tough guy. He's on his way to becoming a leader. Tota progresses more every day. she seems more peaceful and serene. Her future seems more hopeful too. There's a certain gentleness that reigns in this pen.
Hey, Tota. Bonjour, Tota.
It only takes a few minutes to capture a monkey and separate him from his family. It takes years to prepare one to return to the wild. Slowly, the difficulty of Helen's work becomes clear, and all the energy she uses to finance these rescues.
She's eating insects. Of course, she couldn't do that in her cage, nor in the apartment she was kept. It's a good source of proteins for them. You're looking good, Tota. When woolly monkeys lay on their backs like this, it shows how relaxed and safe they feel with the other monkeys and this environment. She's made real progress, and I hope that soon she will take a chance and venture into the trees.
Tota's only the beginning of the long road to reintroduction. And a very important new step is just ahead of her.
Tota looks good. She likes her new family, Hector and the babies, and now they're all ready for freedom.
Being back in the cage perhaps awakens bad memories, but the cries never last long. Helen said these balls of fur are great performers.
And now it's Tota's turn. Come on, it's time to get in the cage now, Tota. Look at the nice grape I put in the bag.
For Tota, the adventure continues. Tota doesn't seem too happy to be back in this cage, but it's going to be worth it. Direction, Hélène's second center in Lagunas. 1 hour of pirogue, 7 hours in a car, and finally 8 hours by boat. At the halfway point, a stop in Yuramaguas.
So we are going to stop here for the night and sleep at the hotel with the animals. So it's a bit like a menagerie. It's not easy. We have to feed and water them and get by as well as we can.
Some papaya, all this gives them some liquid.
Are you often in this kind of shabby hotel with a whole barnyard of animals?
Oh yes, it happens a lot, and most of the time we have them all in our room. People think we're rather strange.
You got them something to eat.
Yes. There's some for everyone.
It's more than 45 degrees here. This situation is surreal.
When traveling to the jungle, Yuramaguas is the last town accessible by the road. It's a junction where adventurers, merchants, and poachers cross paths. Tota and Hector definitely came this way when they were captured. The town's market is a strategic point. It's where the smugglers buy animals. As soon as he has the chance, Carlos goes out looking for woolly monkeys.
We have to look everywhere because the animals are often hidden under the stands. Oh, look, there is a turtle there.
Yes, there are lots of them here.
People eat turtles here. They are becoming extinct and very endangered.
Yes, yes, also. There's a monkey here. There's a monkey. Did you hear? Hello, he looks a little bit sick, doesn't he? You think he's sleeping?
How much does the little tamarind cost?
5 soles each.
About $10. When a family can live on that for a week, it's clear the stakes are high. There are turtles. It's all illegal. Is that a baby parrot?
Yes, it's a baby parrot. All right, so long.
No woolly monkeys so far, right?
No, and that's a proof that there's fewer and fewer of them.
What's that?
That's a kinkajou, a small tree-dwelling carnivore. It's always the same story. The father wants to please his children when they ask him for a pet. Hey kid, don't hurt him.
Can't we buy that one, Carlos? You don't want to?
No. Buying it encourages the traffic.
Yes, but it's going to die anyway with the people that buy it.
Yes, he'll probably end up dead. If we were systematically accompanied by someone who represents the law or the police, who would seize these animals, it would end up dissuading these people. But we don't have the financial means nor the political means for that. When I call the police, they only come if they want to. Of course, when we see a woolly monkey or a spider monkey, we take action. We use all the means at our disposal, because these species are emblematic. It's become a personal commitment for us.
Come on, let's go.
The combat that Hélène and Carlos are waging makes waves. It's no wonder that they've received several death threats. Even so, they've never given up. Tota and Hector were born somewhere north of here in Amazonia. They are at last returning home after several years of exile. Just before nightfall, they arrive at Media Luna, Hélène's second center, buried in the heart of the jungle. It's a magical place. Hélène assembles candidates for freedom here. Tota, Hector, and the little ones spend their first night with their new friends.
What's really new for them here is this heat wave. They never experienced this in Tarangue.
It's incredible.
Yes, it's their territory, but they will have some adapting to do because they've become used to much colder climates.
Hello, Hector.
Okay, we're going in the big pen here. Maybe let's give them something to drink first. Great, you see? She already knows what it is. She had it during the trip. She doesn't dare yet because she's the newbie. She doesn't know how to behave yet. Okay, that's enough. Tota was very anxious this morning because it's a new place with partners that she didn't know at all. See? Now she's much more calm.
So during the first few days, they will get used to each other, discover the local food?
Yes, and they'll also create links, and little by little we'll watch for their preferences and we'll bring in certain ones, move others around. We may even have a chance to get her outside. We have to do things gradually because with a small animal like this one who's become used to humans, you can't say it's all over from one day to the next because you'll traumatize her, which is very dangerous for her health and her morale. So she needs humans. We're here, but only for a certain amount of time.
For these primates to be released one day, they need a place that's secure. The problem is that Helen still hasn't found one, and it's becoming urgent. Some Media Luna residents have been waiting for years. This morning, a journey to Lago Lagunas, the village of the Coca Cocamilla Indians. Hélène has almost convinced them to welcome the woolly monkey on their lands. It's a real challenge in a region where many communities eat them. Here, the woolly makes a festive meal. In the middle of nowhere, The Cocama have an immense 18,000-hectare forest. For several months, Hélène has helped them to develop tourism and their craft work. In exchange, they've committed to protecting the woolly monkeys.
They are so cute.
Some wild primates already live in this forest.
We can hear their cries now.
There they are. How many do you see?
I can see 3 for the moment. I heard some noise over there too.
Audrey is a scientist who works with Hélène. She is making sure that there's enough space for all the monkeys.
Several are female. He's warning his group that something out of the ordinary is happening.
So now the game is to count them?
Exactly. We want to have as much information as we can on the group we were just observing. So if we saw males, how many? Females or babies? A group of woolies needs about 500 hectares of living space. So we want to know how many groups are in this forest to evaluate if the food resources are sufficient, and if we can eventually release our group of woolies here.
It's just incredible to see them like this. To see that it's a huge motivation to fight for them. They deserve a place on this earth, and they need to keep it.
From now on, the villagers will aid in protecting the woolly monkeys. Among them is Eddie, a former hunter.
I realized that in the past I hurt all of these animals, like the woolly monkeys. Today my heart aches. I love these animals. I want to pass a message to my children and to the rest of the world. We can't live without nature, and we need to respect it.
I think we'll start the study here.
We'll stop here.
Yes, because the species here seem interesting to me. So we need to rope off an area of 20 meters by 20 meters, a square.
We are taking a sample of the forest.
That's right, we'll take a survey of all the plants that are inside this square.
To know how many woolies you can release here.
Exactly.
And if everyone will be able to survive, both your monkeys and the wild ones.
That's right. We're surely at the end here.
Okay, so this is the last part of the square.
It'll be easier to work in teams of 2. Meanwhile, we'll count how many trees are more than 50 meters high inside our survey area.
Yes, because the woolies live in the canopy.
Yes, it allows them to develop more interesting behavior. Okay, let's do it.
Let's go. They are so tall. What did they find? What's this?
They've found some insect larvae that woolies eat. Woolies love them, they have lots of protein.
But they are huge. So from what you see here, what do you think of this forest?
I'm seeing lots of diversity in the fruit trees, which are necessary for feeding primates. There's still a lot more to study, but at first glance, there's a good chance we'll release some woolies in Media Luna.
It's really nice to see how the population is involved in that project. They count everything, they know the name of the trees, and I'm sure today if the NGO and the population locally work together, it's the best hope for conservation.
It took 15 years of work. Hélène and Carlos's dream is coming true. Soon, the woolly monkeys of Media Luna will be freed. Tota and Hector still have a long way to go. Before they're freed, some modest challenges await them.
I'm going to see how is Tota now. Hey, Tota. It's incredible because she's here since only 1 week and her hair is really different, more beautiful.
After months or even years of re-education and discovering everything their mother didn't have the chance to teach them, these incredibly sweet and loving monkeys have managed to form a united and harmonious group. But they still have things to learn. It's the big day for Tota and Hector. For the first time in years, they will leave their pen. Helene wants to give them a little taste of freedom.
All right, let's try to encourage them to climb up the trees.
They are all really exciting because it's lunchtime and they can smell the food and see it. We are putting the fruit up to the trees to motivate the monkeys to climb. Tota has seen us, so I think she's going to climb.
Well, it's a big day today, guys. Hector, you coming out? Oh, they always say hello like that. It's too cute. Hector, let's go out. Yes.
Come on, Hector, Tota.
We are going too. Come on, Tota. Come on, Hector.
Come on, let's go. There, Tota came out. Oh, she's more daring. Come on, he's coming out. He's daring.
Tota.
Come on, Tota. Even if we don't know her history, we can see right away that she was raised in a house, because the first thing she looks for is a house with people who will give her something to eat.
Yes, her first reaction is not to go in the trees.
No, that's not right. As for Hector...
Look, he's climbing the tree.
Oh, Hector, he's going up the tree. You see how he chose the easiest route? For primates, the higher they are, the more they assert their dominance. So Hector's saying, I'm the boss. Now he'll take some time to explore and find his bearings, using the pen as a reference, his secure base. Once he feels secure, he'll make a decision. Let's go on the platform. Let's go, Tota.
She has to be carried to the trees because she won't go on her own. She has to be confronted with nature and the forest, so that little by little she gets used to it.
The trainers play a fundamental role in this. All through rehabilitation, they're here watching, seeing how they can encourage them to become monkeys again.
Here we are.
Tota is beginner in forest school, and I hope that my little escape artist from Lima will soon return to her forest. I hope Tota will progress very quickly so she can be back to the wild. She will come here every day until she's ready.
She'll end up enjoying the taste of freedom. I'm absolutely convinced. Oh, good job, Hector. You see, a first little push out into the world. A first reward. Well, today, Hector earned his freedom.
This may seem like a small victory, but it's a very hopeful sign for every woolly monkey that has been torn away from nature. With little money or aid, but with a lot of willpower, Helene, Milagros, and Albertina have shown that it's possible to get involved and change the way things are. For these women, fighting for the animals of the Amazon is also a way of making sure that our world keeps its share of poetry and dreams.